and welcome to Talk in 10. Talk in 10 is a 10-minute program where we sit and talk about something very current. And what is very current right now is the common entrance examination. As a matter of fact, it is right at our doorstep. Sitting with me this morning is Miss Shillingford, a grade 6 teacher of the Massacre Canefield Primary School. Good morning, Miss Shillingford.
Good morning.
And today, I really just want you to give to the boys and girls who will get an opportunity to see this video with their parents a few helpful tips as they go along in sitting the exam on the 7th of July.
Okay. Alright. Well, what I came up with is just 5 helpful tips for students writing the national assessment exam. Normally, around that time, well, we'll be having, trying to be getting the results. So we already know that we enter it in a different time. This year is going to be slightly different. Not slightly different, very different. Our students will be doing the exam at a later date. So they're doing the exam next week on the 7th, as opposed to other years when they do it on the last Thursday and Friday of May. What else is different about the exam? This year they'll be doing it following the COVID-19 protocol. So they'll be practicing social distancing, they'll be wearing the mask, they have their sanitizer and all these things. And I know for some of you, you are saying, oh, no, we don't like it this way. But just think of it. Years from now, you'll be telling your friends who were the first students that did national assessment this way. So you're part of history. So that's, something, that's a bright side. That's the bright side of being part of history. So I just have 5 simple tips, and I'm sure it's nothing new to you, but it's good to reinforce those tips. The first thing you need to do, you need to relax. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you that being anxious, being nervous is a natural part of life, Even this morning when I was coming to do the interview, I was a bit nervous. And then I said to myself, but I just did a class, I am always teaching, you understand? So it's alright to be nervous, especially when you're going to do something for your first time. But it's important to know that you have to relax. This exam is like any other exam you have done. So you just relax and you tell yourself, I can do the exam. It's not it's nothing difficult. For those of you who did the pre-com, national assessment is like the pre-com. So the pre-com is basically preparing you for the exam, so that's why it's important to relax. Tip number 2, read your instruction carefully. I cannot emphasize that enough. Read the instructions carefully and you pay attention to words in bold type. Although recently I saw national assessment paper and then most of the instructions were in bold type. But you need to pay attention to certain words. Words like least likely, more likely, least likely, most likely, except, not. These words, they are usually in bold type and they are usually underlined. And they are underlined and they are in bold type for a reason. So we need to pay attention to those words. When you're doing your language paper, it's in different sections. So you have to pay attention to that as well. Because sometimes they might tell you, okay, from number 13 to 15, look at the words that are incorrectly spelled. And then they will tell you from 16 to 17, pick the word that is correctly spelled. And that's where instructions come in. So you have to read your instructions carefully because that is what is guiding you, to do the exam. Tip number 3. Most of your exam, with the exception of the language paper, is done multiple choice. So most of the exam, with the exception of the language paper 2, that is the composition, is multiple choice. And what I tell my students is a little technique that we use. I tell them to use the elimination method. So you have your answer sheet, your question paper, you eliminate the least likely. So you look at it. And you can do that for comprehension. You say to yourself, okay, let me look at the answers that just not correct. So you eliminate, okay, it's not B for sure. It's not D either, so it's between A and B. And you narrow it down to the correct answer. So we call that the elimination method of doing multiple choice. It's actually very useful. So that is one way, you could navigate the exam. The fourth tip, review your work after the exam. It is very important to review your work, because sometimes you see students, they do the work and like they rush it. You understand? They do the work and in no time they just, as soon as they finish, they close the paper and they rest it on the table. And we always advise them to review your work, because you never know. Sometimes you think an answer is correct, and after you go through it, you realize, oh no, that's not correct. And also when you're reviewing, look at your answer sheets, because remember, it's multiple choice and they are very close together. You don't want to, because it's so easy for you to circle C or A for number 3, and you move to number 4. Well, you think you move to number 4, and number 4 is D, but only to find out later that you circle D in number 3. So those things happen, you know, the nervousness, those other things happen. So it's very important to review your work as much as possible. You understand? National assessment, the good thing about it is that you are given sufficient time to complete the exam. So most time you find students complete the exam before the time. They have like half an hour or 15 minutes, you know, just sitting there. Use that time to review your exam. And finally, number 5, I want to talk about the supervisors and assistant supervisors. They are there for a reason, and they are there to make sure that you are comfortable while doing the exam. So utilize them as much as possible. This year in particular, you are doing the exam with a mask on. However, all of us that wear the mask. One thing we know about the mask is that you get breathless after time under the mask. And if you're doing an exam, you know, the added pressure, whatever. So you may want to, like, if you're uncomfortable, just sorry, bring down the mask a little bit. You understand? Or if you're in the exam and, you know, for some reason you want some water, you want to drink some water, you want to use the washroom, you know, you talk to your supervisor. These supervisors, you know, most of them, they are teachers that you are not familiar with, because they are teachers from other schools. But the good thing is that all of them want you to be successful. So all of them are there to ensure that you are doing the exam and that you are comfortable while doing the exam. So don't be intimidated, don't be afraid, don't be nervous. You know, if you have a question, you know, anything that you're concerned about, you just put up your hand, supervisor come to you, and then they will facilitate you whatever help you. So don't be intimidated by them. I said I have 5 tips. That was my final tip, to go to the supervisor. But I have a number 6 tip, and just a little, it's not really a tip now, it's just to help with composition. You understand? Because as I said earlier, that is the only exam that we're trying to be writing. No, I just want to give 2 little tips where composition is concerned. Now, for the composition, you are given like 3 topics. You are given 3 topics, and you have to choose the topic that you want to write on. Now, the first thing you need to do is make sure you understand what is required of you. You understand? If they want you to describe a scene, if they want you to write a story about, you know, let me see, I'm thinking of a topic. I know last year they had this topic, to describe a scene of an accident, and you call your composition a scene of a scene of an accident. I can't remember it word for word. But you were supposed to, I think they say you will live in school, and while leaving school, you come across an accident. Describe the scene of the accident. So sometimes a child could see that and get confused and think that they want you to write about an accident you were involved in. You know, they really want you to describe what you saw while you were leaving school and you came across the accident. So make sure you understand what is expected of you, what they want you to write on. And another important tip is that you choose a topic that you are comfortable with. You know, some topics, when you see them, you can already, ideas just popping up in your mind. You understand? So you know that is my topic, I can write, I can elaborate on that topic. So you choose a topic that you are comfortable with. And the third thing, when you are done writing your composition, remember the composition is never over when you are finished writing, when you have written the last word. You have to review your work, and you might have to edit certain things. So you might have made spelling errors that you were not aware of in the first time you wrote the composition. You might have punctuation errors, so you correct it at the same time. You understand? You might use a word and you might say to yourself, that word is not a grade 6 child word. Maybe I need to take out that word and put a better word. You understand? So you want to take out kind and you want to put generous. You understand? That's a better choice for you. So you will find out all those things then when you are going over your work. So it's very important to read over your composition. You understand? Read over your composition. Read over your work as much as possible. And if you follow those tips there, you will be you are well on your way. Of course, there are other tips that probably I may have forgotten, and I'm sure that your parents and your teachers told you about it. So just be relaxed and tell yourself there is nothing on the exam that I don't know. You understand? And there's a little Bible verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So you go in the exam with that mindset and you will be successful. So all the best, and I hope that you are successful.
So you've heard it, you've heard it. Under 1 minute or less. Can you just give the parents out there a quick little word of advice as to their children? Just a quick, what would you say to a parent who is having a child sit the exam for the very first time? What are you saying? Even if it's not for the first time, but what would you say to a parent? Because I know some parents, they a little concerned, a little worried, and I know you said that there's nothing to be worried about. But what would you say from a teacher's point of view, talking to a parent? What would you say to a parent?
Okay, well, the same thing I tell the students, because sometimes parents tend to get nervous as well, you understand? Especially this year, because this year, most of them might be saying to themselves, well, the children are out of school since in March, you think they covered everything. But the good thing though, I didn't mention that earlier, this year exam is different, slightly different. In previous years, the children would have gotten the multiple choice for the maths and the language, 60 multiple choice items. This year it has been cut. So for maths they'll be getting 40 questions, for language they'll be getting 40 questions, and where they would have gotten a social studies paper and a science and technology paper, they're only getting a general paper with 50 questions. So the exam has been adjusted in such a way that the children will not be at a disadvantage. You understand? So that's one thing we know for sure, that children are not at a disadvantage so much. Parents don't get nervous, because if you are nervous, the children are going to pick up on your nerves and get nervous as well. So you need to make sure that they are relaxed. Ensure, I know some, in years gone by, I don't think parents do that anymore because parents know better. But like they'll put added pressure, I want a scholarship, I want a bursary, don't come there if you have got, that kind of thing. I don't think parents do that anymore, but if you are doing that, don't do that. You understand? Try to make them as relaxed as possible. As I said, children pick up on your nervousness. If you are nervous and you are concerned, if you are anxious, they're going to feed off that as well. So you just need to make sure that they are relaxed. Tell them that the exam is not nothing they can, nothing they cannot handle. You could even tell them, use the what I just told you, that the exam, it is the multiple choice is short by 20 questions, so they are doing a shorter exam, and it is short by the amount of papers they are doing also. In years gone by, they would do the four papers, social studies, science, language, and math. This year they're only doing 3. So in that regard, they sort of kind of at a disadvantage, that kind of thing. Make sure they are relaxed as much as possible. Maybe you can take them out. Somebody suggested that sometime last week. Maybe you could take them out, just to relax them, and in the morning just give them a little pep talk. Nothing, don't add no pressure on them. Exam is already pressure on its own. Just try as much to relax them. You understand? And children adjust quickly. We sometimes think that, oh, the child is going to fail. Children adjust quickly. You understand? Children, we have to give children more credit. We don't give children the amount of credit they deserve, but they relax quickly and they adjust quickly. So just need to be supportive of them.
So there you've heard it from Miss Shillingford. Thank you very much, Miss Shillingford, for participating in our exercise this morning. See you next time on Talk in 10.